What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jordan back again to give you my top 10 wide receivers for the 2020 NFL Draft. This has been a highly requested video after the last one that I made on my top 10 running backs of the 2020 class. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. If you're first time watching one of my videos, subscribe to the YouTube channel down here. Hit the like button if you like this video. Let's get into it. At number 10, we have Oregon State Beavers wide receiver Isaiah Hodgins. Don't let Hodgins fool you because of his size. At 6'4", 210 pounds, he's going to be a beast at the next level. I don't know if he's going to get the draft capital that I hope he can get, but as far as production, combine, breakout age, he hits all those metrics. The only reason why people don't really know about him that much is because he played in the Pac-12, so he played late at night. People didn't see him as much, but trust me, if you're unfamiliar with Isaiah Hodgins, I want you to go turn on the tape, check him out. He's big body, he's going to be an end zone threat, and he's pretty fluid in the hips and runs good routes. 86 catches for 1,100 yards and double-digit touchdowns in his final season. Isaiah Hodgins is going to be a great player at the next level. That's why he comes in at number 10. Laviska Shenault Jr. is going to be a very polarizing player in drafts. He is going to have probably a second round, third round draft capital, but we all know with Laviska, the biggest issue is his injuries. He had multiple injuries throughout his college career. His best season was actually last season when he was a finalist for the Blitnikoff Award, who was ultimately won by Jeudy. But he still managed to rack up over 900 yards, double-digit touchdowns, and obviously was a Blitnikoff finalist while only playing 9 games. 9 games in college football in 2018. Now, with that being said, obviously there's a lot of concerns with Laviska's injury history, but his production really speaks for itself. And even though he had a bit of a down season this year, I'm telling you he's probably going to be at a discount in drafts. And if you can handle that potential injury risk, Laviska could be a dynamic player if he can stay healthy at the next level. Laviska Shenault, number 9 on my list. At number 8, we have Arizona State wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk. Now, Brandon Aiyuk is going to be another prospect that you should go in the late first, early second of NFL drafts. He's a very, very fast prospect. He's very quick to accelerate and decelerate out of his breaks, and in my opinion, that's his best trait. When you see him go, he really gets on defenders' toes. Next thing you know, he's cutting left, he's cutting right, and that to me is what's going to help him separate at the next level, and he's really going to need to hone that skill and use that to his advantage at the next level. He's already pretty tall. He's not the biggest guy, and I know people may mention that he played running back in high school, but in my opinion, I don't see that on tape as much as other people do. Obviously, he's a punt returner. He averaged over 18 yards of reception in college. He's going to be a weapon at the next level, but he is a little bit raw right now. He's going to need to hone his skill set, improve on his routes, while getting in and out of his breaks as quickly as he did in college. Brandon Aiyuk is going to be a good player at the next level. How good? I'm not sure. He's a little bit raw. He may take some time to develop. So if you do draft him, be wary of that and know that it may take a year or two for him to get acclimated to the NFL. But as far as punt return skills, he should be in day one. He should get on the field, and that for sure will be an asset to him getting on the field as a wide receiver as well. At number 7, we have a player who had a little bit lacking as far as production goes, but he was a breakout age machine, and that's wide receiver out of South Carolina, Bryan Edwards. Bryan Edwards broke out at 18 years old, which for people who understand breakout age, it's one of the key metrics for wide receivers in determining their ability to dominate at the next level. Bryan Edwards was a very productive player despite his pedestrian quarterback play and on a not so great team. Edwards is a big player who can run pretty good routes. He has very, very strong hands at the catch point, and he can break tackles when he gets the ball in the open field. He was really deployed as a weapon out there, and that they really tried to get him the ball on screens, get him the ball in space where he can actually make plays himself. Really, the only issue for him is that he wasn't able to perform at the combine because he had a broken foot. People said he'd probably run in the low 4.5s, but even if you project him at a 4.55, that's plenty fast enough to do things and play outside of the next level. I'm really happy with how Bryan Edwards looked on tape, and I would definitely be looking to target him in the second round of my rookie drafts. Bryan Edwards comes in at number 7 in my wide receiver list. Now at number 6, this is probably going to be the most hot take pick here, and it's wide receiver out of Liberty, Antonio Gandy-Golden. Now, for one thing to note about this list is that it is based off of metrics, based off of tape production, and then combine scores on top of that. It does not include draft capital, and that's where I think people are going to be a little bit surprised. Antonio Gandy-Golden is a very talented wide receiver. One of the things that he does best is he is physical. He is a player who, if you're not ready as a corner, he's going to push you off your spot. He's going to beat you up all day long, and he's going to go up and get balls that only he can catch. And that's one thing that is going to translate to the next level no matter what. He's such a big receiver, and he used his physicality so well, so much better than some of the other tall receivers coming in this draft class, and that's going to be his best asset. Even if you were to put a physical corner who's 6 foot or taller on him, he's still going to be able to use his size and his big catch radius to come down with 50-50 balls and score touchdowns at the next level. In my opinion, he also has an excellent release. For a player who's coming out of a smaller school, he obviously produced at a very high level. That's why he was on people's sleeper lists in early 2019 and is now rising to no longer be a sleeper, but actually be a viable solution at the next level. Now, obviously, Liberty competition is not the greatest there, but you can look at his tape against Syracuse, and he played very, very well. And I know people may not like it, but trust me, you need to go turn on the tape if you haven't seen it. He is going to be a very good weapon at the next level, and I think that he can succeed. At number 5 on my list, it's wide receiver out of Baylor, Denzel Mims. Now, we all know a lot about Denzel Mims. He obviously came into the combine, blew it up. He ran a 4.33, jumped out the gym. But at least for me, the athleticism is great, but I don't feel like his skills necessarily translated on tape as much as other people seem to think that they did. He's obviously an excellent receiver, and he's going to be able to dominate as far as 50-50 balls. So he played almost entirely outside as a wide receiver. He played down the field. He stretched the field. He was always catching what would be considered more difficult receptions than most people, and that might have hampered his production at times. You never really saw him running crossing routes. You never really saw him run breaking routes under the middle where he could get easy receptions and then get yak on top of that. Now, in my opinion, I didn't see a whole lot after the catch from him. He is strong in his legs, but he wasn't really driving guys. He wasn't really pushing the pile. He wasn't really getting extra yardage from his physicality that I'd hoped to see at the NFL level in college. That being said, he's still a very raw, very athletic prospect that can do a lot and should be able to catch touchdowns due to his size. And I think that's going to be his best asset going forward. And obviously his deep, deep speed. He has that second gear and he can really turn it on to burn defenders at the next level. Denzel Mims, number 5 on my list. He's probably going to go in the late first, early second round of the NFL draft. And he'll probably be in the top 7 or 8 of your fantasy drafts. Okay guys, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So number 4 on my list, remember this is pre-NFL draft, so I don't have landing spots accounted for. Number 4 on my list, wide receiver out of Alabama, Jerry Jeudy, right? Not Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy comes in at number 4. Obviously we all know Jerry Jeudy, 2018, 1,800 yards, double-digit touchdowns, Biletnikoff winner, which is another award of which those players tend to translate at the next level at a very, very high rate, other than a few select guys. Jerry Jeudy, one of the best route runners in the whole class. His ability after the catch to make defenders miss, to manipulate people with his legs, his dead leg, his agility, he can do it all in the open field, other than really just push the pile and really get those extra yardage. But as far as everything else goes, Jerry Jeudy is a monster. He has a very good sense for how to read coverages, how to run his routes. He's easily one of the best separators I've ever seen. But the biggest issue for me is his hands can be a little bit shoddy at times as far as his eliteness goes in his hands. He still has very good hands, but he could be a little bit better, and he's not the best in contested catch scenarios. And when he's going across the middle, he tends to be a little bit timid at times, and that's one thing he's going to have to work on at the next level. Jerry Jeudy is still an elite prospect, and it's no knock on him to be at number 4 on this list. The 3 guys above him I just think are a little bit better and showed a little bit more in college that will translate at least to the next level more than what Jerry Jeudy showed beyond his deep speed, his route running, and his ability after the catch. Jerry Jeudy is still an elite prospect, and I have no doubt he will probably be moving up my board after he gets the draft capital. But for now, he sits at number 4, right below a few guys who I like a little bit more. At number 3 on my list is probably my favorite prospect in this class, and it's wide receiver at LSU, Justin Jefferson. In my opinion, Justin Jefferson has probably the safest floor of any wide receiver in this class. He's going to be a slot machine at the next level, and people really, I don't think, are accounting for just what Justin Jefferson can do and how good he was for LSU. Despite being beside Jamar Chase, the Biletnikoff winner, who he still managed to have over 1,000 yards, while Jamar Chase had 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson still was more than elite in his own right, playing next to another exceptional elite player, 101 in Devi right now. He's going to be a first-round pick in the NFL draft more than likely. He's probably going to have to be an alpha right away. And honestly, with the way this guy runs routes, I don't see how he's not going to dominate. He's excellent after the catch. He just can absolutely pour it on. When you look no further than his game against Oklahoma in the college football playoff, one of the biggest games of his life, and this dude went off for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half. He just can do it all. And even though he played mostly out of the slot in college, that doesn't mean he can't play outside, because he played outside more in his sophomore season. If he goes to Philly, I'm telling you, you guys need to be taking him a lot higher than that. Playing with Carson Wentz, if they run RPOs, Justin Jefferson's going to be running across the middle. He's going to be basically Robert Woods out there. People will think, oh, well, Robert Woods isn't that good, blah, blah, blah. Robert Woods is a wide receiver 1, and Justin Jefferson can be a wide receiver 1 for fantasy. Trust me, Justin Jefferson is the bomb. You want to get him on all your rosters if you can. At number 2 is the wide receiver out of TCU, Jalen Reagor. I know that people are going to say, well, oh yeah, his production wasn't the best in his senior year, but you need to really look more into the advanced metrics and really understand what he dealt with. He had one of the lowest percentage of catchable passes amongst all eligible wide receivers in this draft class. Justin Jefferson, I believe, was somewhere in the 95th percentile, in which case 95% of his passes thrown to him by Joe Burrow were catchable. Jalen Reagor, on the other hand, was at the bottom of the spectrum, where only 61% of his passes that were thrown his way were catchable. And somehow he still managed to dominate with almost a 30% dominator rating. Last season, he had over 1,000 yards playing on an absolutely anemic, absolutely horrendous TCU offense. And I can't wait to see what he does at the next level. He's excellent after the catch. Look no further than his Iowa State game, where he rose up in the end zone on a taller defender and showed off his athleticism to rip down a ball in the end zone. He's going to be a weapon at the next level. He can catch screens, run after the catch. He can run deep. You saw at the 40 he ran a 4.55. Since then, he obviously slimmed down, ran the 40 again. People saw his 4.2. But I think it's not debatable that he has legitimate 4.3 speed. He can get deep. He has a second gear. He can honestly do a bit of everything. He's going to be a bowling ball after the catch. He runs through defenders, arms tackles all the time. And I know that Ray is confident to Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin's probably my favorite player of all time, so it's difficult for me to make that comp. But to be fair, it is an element of his game that you see a lot. His ability to run through arm tackles and really break tackles against defenders and push the pile when defenders are accumulating on him. He's able to do that at an elite level, something that I can't say about a lot of the prospects below him. Jalen Reagor is number 2 on my list. He's going to be a superstar. Honestly, don't doubt Jalen Reagor, because I promise you, you will feel foolish when this guy gets to the next level and he gets a competent quarterback and he shows out. Jalen Reagor, number 2 on my list. At number 1, it should be no surprise, it's CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver out of Oklahoma, is easily the best sideline-to-sideline receiver in this class. The one thing about him that people are going to say, he's not the fastest. But it's not that he's not fast. His tape speed, and he really glides out there. He's like a gazelle. When you see a gazelle run, he's gliding. He's not really moving too fast, but he is moving at a very fast pace. CeeDee Lamb is one of the best receivers after the catch that I've seen, not just in this draft class, but in multiple draft classes. You see what he can do when he high points the ball. He can catch literally anything out there. This guy, doesn't matter where you put it, as long as you put it in his radius, he's probably going to come down with the ball. Now, of course, he was fortunate to play with Baker Mayfield in his freshman year, Kyler Murray in his sophomore year, and now Jalen Hurts, who's probably his worst quarterback and still might end up being a first-round pick. Obviously, playing with 2 Heisman Trophy winners and now a Heisman Trophy finalist in Jalen Hurts does help him a little bit, but please don't be mistaken. CeeDee Lamb is the wide receiver 1 in this class, basically hands down. I wouldn't even say it's that close. I have Jalen Reagor behind him, and it's a little bit close for me, but CeeDee Lamb is the crown jewel. The crazy thing is, he may not be the first wide receiver taken in this draft class. It may end up being Henry Ruggs, which in my opinion is a mistake, but I hope to God he goes to a place like the Jets where he can play with Sam Darnold, or he goes to the Raiders where he can be an alpha there. But he needs to go someplace where he can be an alpha, he can dominate, he can abuse corners, he can abuse safeties at the next level, because CeeDee Lamb is an elite player who is elite in almost every single trait you look for. Separation, route running, run after the catch, high point the ball, release. He can do absolutely everything, sideline to sideline, slot, outside, go deep. Doesn't matter what you need CeeDee to do, he'll get it done. CeeDee Lamb, number 1 wide receiver on my list. I'm telling you, this guy is going to be the next DeAndre Hopkins. He has that it factor. He has that dog in him. And CeeDee Lamb is just an absolutely dynamic player, and I can't wait to see what he does at the next level. Hit the like button if you like this video. Smash it if that's something that you're into. Subscribe if you're not already. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!